After going negative with its outlook on Peru's insurance industry from COVID related impacts in 2021, AM Best has revised its outlook back to stable for the South American country's insurance market. Here to discuss the rationale in the revision is Eli Sanchez, director of AM Best. And Eli, what have insurers done specifically within their books of business that factor into the outlook revision?
Hi, John. We have seen that the insurers really have experienced better performance on their portfolios, especially coming from the medical side, but also from the life side. So, in the medical and accidents and health, they were able to adjust their prices according first to the medical inflation that's present in the country, and then to the benefits paid experience that they had in previous years. That has made way for better technical results on that line of business. And also on the life side, we have seen the fade off of the COVID effects since 2022. In 2021, a lot of companies were very impacted by those events. Now, as COVID has been limited to the impact on how severe it is in terms of the illness, we are seeing a large survival rate, so that hasn't translated into more benefits paid. So we see a turnaround in these two lines of business. There's still competitive lines in the PC market. Market participants are aware of that. So here the name of the game is efficiency, either in cost structures, distribution channels, their capital management strategies. So I think those companies that can really benefit from the growing opportunities that are in the market right now are those that can be more efficient in the way they have their cost structure. We've seen rated companies perform well in this segment. There are still segments that are still very highly competed, and that they have to find a way to perform better, especially when we talk about auto and fire in Peru. But all the way, our revision on the outlook goes hand in hand with better claim performance, better technical results, and it seems like an economic environment is improving to have more businesses generated in the country.
What have been the positives and negatives for the Peruvian market with the ouster of the country's president at the end of last year?
Well, Peru has not been a stranger to this kind of movements. We have seen presidents going in and out for the last 10 years. Now, with the difference with other presidents is that Castillo was a little bit more strict and aggressive on their personal and political views. So, with his removal, there was a positive side, especially on the business confidence as it increased. And also you could see on the risk premiums for the country diminishing. So a lot of the markets felt safer investing in Peru, and they saw that this could lead the way to have more stability in terms of political implementation, also on economic stability. So that translating into the insurance market, I think they can be more at ease on how public expenditure is going to happen, how the surety and property segments are going to perform, and really overall how communication in terms of projects, in terms of a state of law is going to happen. So I think there's more pros than cons with this changing government. Now we still have to see what is going to be the future, how kind of government is going to stay in the next elections. Nevertheless, as in Mexico, Peru is one of the countries that has the greatest macro stability. Their monetary authority, the Central Bank of Peru, has been very good reacting to the COVID crisis, as well as the fiscal policy was very good in providing incentives to maintain companies afloat and to maintain economic activity. So really, I think the markets and the investors kind of discount these political effects given the macroeconomic stability that is present in the country and the quality of the policy takers, of the policy decision makers that are set in key positions in the country. So it's a positive effect, but I think the markets already trust this country.
What is the regulatory regime like in Peru, and what are you seeing of it to positively impact the market?
Well, it's a very good and transparent active body. It's called the SBC, the Superintendency of Banks and Insurance. This is an institution that promotes good standards and governance for the industry. In conjunction with that, we see that accounting bodies are quick to recognize the changing international standards, and there are efforts on industry-wide to implement them. Most recently, we have the case of IFRS 17 that will have a significant impact on reporting. So there has been many talks and work tables to prepare for the adaptation. And while it's not mandatory yet by the SBS, yet you can see how this could be a swift implementation because we are seeing the SBS involved, the accounting authority involved, companies involved, and they are really working towards it, although it's not mandatory yet. Now, on the other side, opposite to the regulator are the ones that are regulated. So companies have a very strong association of insurers. It's called APESEC, which is the Peruvian Association of Insurers. It's quite active in providing feedback on the regulatory matters and common practices. So in contrast with what we saw at some moment during the pandemic with the private pension funds and the regulator, that there were a lot of controversies on how things were getting done and then an implementation on taking out funds on that, we see that the communication between the insurance association and the regulatory body, the SBS and other regulatory authorities flows better. So I think that's quite positive, impacting the market. The SBC is quite transparent and it really has an eye on everything that's happening in the country. And you can see that either from their communication or also when you go to their website, you can find information very easily. So that really also provides a lot of confidence on the analysis that we do, having the transparency of a good institution regulating the insurance industry.
Thanks, Eli.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That was Eli Sanchez, Director of AM Best. You can find the full report online at ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.